What? Jared? That's fine.
He was coming.
There he is.
Well, I guess we can get started now.
Jared,
Terry
this way.
wants me. I'm playing my package here, Terry.
All right, you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. Bring December council meeting to order. We have the pledge allegiance and then the prayer by Michelle Jarvis. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Dear Heavenly Father, I ask you for wisdom and integrity while we're seeking guidance tonight as members of council and our mayor and our staff as we serve our community with love and fairness and courage, and helping us to promote prosperity within our community and to avoid selfish ambition. I pray, God, that you just watch over us and help us do things that are right and pleasing in your eyes. In your name we pray. Amen.
Okay, we're going to go around with our department head updates. We're going to do Jeff last, our fire chief. So Dave, you got anything?
Title 6.
Month of November, we were a little bit slower than normal. We had 127 calls. It put us up to 1,626 for the year. We have one of our EMTs that went through our internship program. These are EMTs. You can orientation, get released right after you get closed. Hired one new part-time EMT. He's in orientation, gets released too. One of our full-time employees in the advanced class, that you guys have another advanced provider on. About a week ago, our new truck's down again, looks like the way it's front. We attended the Aurora Christmas parade, that was cool. Everybody enjoyed that. And we already got a full barrel of toys for the Christmas project, so we'll be drawing for the $50 Amazon gift card soon.
Oh, cool. All right. Anybody got anything for Dave? All right, we're going to jump over to Josh, chief.
The month of November, we had 180 traffic stops. When we first started at 17, we had 11 traffic crashes, which is low. We're usually 23, 24 crashes. One of those was personal injury. We had 33 cases. We wanted 378 runs for service. We drove 8,407 miles. We averaged around 12.5 miles a gallon. We had 101 walk-ins downstairs. November 3rd, Jason, Officer Turner, and Ozzy did a demonstration at St. Mary's preschool. November 26th, the department helped in the 5K run that St. Mary's puts on. And November 30th, Ratliff and Abner helped out with the Christmas parade and tree lighting.
All right. Nothing big and exciting going on? Did Bird get to do his training for the drone yet?
Oh yeah, that was, we announced that last month.
Oh, Bird got it done?
Oh, no, not Bird, that was happening.
After.
No,
Okay.
that'd be 2026.
All right, so Bird gets it done. What, we got 4 guys in?
Yeah.
All right. Drones fly away.
There. Titles.
Title 6.
All Title 6, I'll read it. Well, okay, go ahead and do Title 6.
Yeah, Title 6. As recipient of federal funds, the City of Aurora offers a voluntary survey to gather statistical data regarding participants and beneficiaries of its federal aid programs and activities. The survey is to gather information about the populations affected by City of Aurora activities. If you want one of these surveys, I can get you one after they're in my office. Also, for any public comment, please come to the podium, state your name, and try to keep it to 2 minutes. We're also being recorded. You can watch the recording back on YouTube after the fact or live.
Main Street, we got Sammy.
Yep. So I am Sammy Pendenful with Main Street. I've been a board member since 2016, board treasurer since 2018, and a longtime member of the organization committee chair. Council should have received our December Main Street newsletter as well as our 21st Miracle on Main brochure in their mailboxes. We want to thank Mayor Schwing, Clerk Treasurer Turner, Councilwoman Jarvis and Love, and Hartford for attending our annual meeting in November. We had 115 reservations. During Small Business Saturday, 50 bags, swag bags were given away. They went in 15 minutes. That's how popular it was. We had people downtown, so that was pretty cool. There was 2,600 items in the swag bag from 52 local businesses, so that was pretty cool. Since the physical preparations for events have started, Main Street Aurora volunteers have contributed 183 volunteer hours. This Saturday, December 13th at 12:15 is the ribbon cutting for the United Way mural on 2nd and Main Streets, so join us for that. For those of you who have not received membership support from, you can get a tax deduction for 2025 to financially support your city through Main Street Aurora, who supports special events, public relations, and the revitalization of downtown. The 21st Miracle on Main Street continues Saturday and Sunday through the 21st. So if you haven't joined us, please join us for that. It's a lot of fun. And that's all we have right now.
Oh, yeah. How'd breakfast with Santa go?
I think it went pretty well.
I enjoyed the pancakes myself.
Those lions know what they're doing.
All right. Okay, let's jump over here to Fire Chief Jeff. He's gonna do his thing, and then we got an award to give out.
Thank you, Mayor. You all have our total run, averaged another 50 runs last month. You see all the different types. A lot of 7 structure fires, but that's throughout the community. You see all mutual aid runs. Also, we've got a good crowd here tonight. I'd like to invite everybody on Wednesday night at 7 o'clock at the firehouse at 5950 Dutch Hall Road. 3 of our hometown heroes will be seeking the State Medal of Valor for their rescue on Lincoln Street back, I think, in August. EMT Devin Bowling, EMT Trenton Martin, and Patrolman Adam Bird will be presented the Medal of Valor by the State Fire Marshal, and we will be giving them an award also on behalf of the city and the Aurora Fire Department. So everybody's invited. It's going to be a good night to honor some hometown heroes. They put their lives on the line, and we have a great group of guys. We're a team. We're glad here tonight, and the reason they're here tonight is we had a fish chicken fry at the firehouse, and we raised $3,200, and we gave $1,200 to the clearinghouse. And tonight we would like to honor Dave Funch, who is battling cancer. But he did go to the doctor, and he's cancer free. $2,000 to help them through this time, and I'd ask the council, because they were there with us that day, and the life squad members that are here, and Dave and Jennifer and the firefighters, if they come up front, and somebody's going to get a picture of us, and we'd like to give them a check to help them out. But Dave was a patrolman back in the 90s. Here I was a patrolman also, and he's known as Punch Man. So we had a lot of good times down here, and we did our job, we had a good time, and we did our stint in law enforcement. But Dave, Jennifer, guys, come on up here and we'll give them a check and count please.
I'm gonna try to crowd down there. You want the mayor to go ahead and
Get on down and get your picture. Jennifer, get on down there. Yep, I guess.
Green kids to remember you.
What's that? Yeah.
Huh? Jeez, I don't want to break another camera.
No. See, if you want to stand back here, they can just see our heads. So we can kind of be part of it. That saves me from having to go through the back.
Get us all in. Harry, let me down the back. There you go, Dave, there's a check.
I mean, he's the true hero of the community right here, and if anybody says, not just because I got a check in my hand, but if anybody says it's a better community in the world, I've been around the world, I call them a liar to their face, I really would. This is totally awesome, and it really helps me and my family out so much in this time. Like the other day, we left the hospital, the doctor told me I was cancer-free, and I swear there's somebody with a pair of binoculars somewhere, could see, pull out, my phone's ringing, wondering how we can make payment plans. But like I said, I hate to sound condescending or whatever, but these are the true unsung heroes of the community right here. It really is. These guys put their lives on the line, and they do it, with a lot of financial burden to themselves and their families, just to keep everybody safe. So, again, to the city of Aurora, you mean a very special place in my heart, and thank you very much. Very much. Thanks, guys.
I heard you find a chicken up here Wednesday. I'll tell Mike he's not frying chicken.
We got a little help set up.
We're gonna do timings now. That way when we
Thank you, Mayor.
get on the Saturday, right?
You want me there Wednesday? I'm sorry?
Is it a warrant?
I'll mention that to these guys. We'll see what they say.
Okay, so this is the night of reports. If Avis or Tiny, if her family could come up here, please. So some of you may remember we honored Richard Allred several months ago, right? And so we started an award this year called the Heart of Aurora Award. And we wanted to honor Tiny for everything that she did for our city. And so I just have a little something I'm going to read about her that I will say. Nancy helped me put together, Spencer and his mom helped me put together, so I appreciate that. I knew her later in life, so. Avis Tiny Rivera was an incredible person with a rich life full of accomplishments and service. Her dedication to both her family and community is really inspiring. Serving in the Navy, having a long career at the Aurora Utilities, and holding a position as a city judge all show a deep commitment to making a difference. Avis was a family-oriented person who not only had her own family, but she had a deep connection to the community. Like her lifelong membership to the Aurora Baptist Church, and then when they switched over to Vineyard, it showed her dedication, how she adapted to changes while staying rooted in her faith instead of leaving. Graduating from Aurora High School in 1956, she was someone who grew up with a sense of tradition and community that carried through the rest of her life. The Making Faces portrait on the Don Andrew Building is a beautiful tribute to her legacy, recognizing someone who not only served her country, but also stayed involved in her community for decades. It was meaningful that she was honored in such a public way by Main Street Aurora. It's clear that Avis lived a life of both deep commitment and adaptability. Her ability to evolve when changes around her, like with her church, speaks to a strength of character that many people respect. Not only did she serve her country and contribute professionally for so many years, but she also played an integral part in the local community, which is something that can leave a lasting impact. It's also impressive that she was such a part of a large family that managed to find time to give back in so many ways. A legacy like hers isn't just built on a career or titles, but also on the relationships she's nurtured and the values that she instilled in others. So for those of you who don't know, I have a very special connection with Spencer, and so that's why I asked if I could be the one to present this to their family tonight. So, and so we made sure that an awesome way. I'll give it tiny on there for you guys, so I'll give that to you. And so we just want to thank you guys and thank you much. Oh, they're going to take a picture. Yeah.
All right, where are we at on these awards? Police and fire award, that was Jeff, okay.
Mayor,
Yes,
I'd like to make a motion before we proceed.
okay, we got,
Okay. I want to make a motion that we table the salary ordinances and the budget resolution until our December 22nd meeting that we're having following the annexation public meeting.
I second that motion.
okay. There's a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Or do we know where we need to get to on the work that needs to be done to resolve those matters? I mean,
Yeah, I think that's why we wanted to table so we can be
I
working on that
understand
during
that.
those
I
few
just,
weeks.
in talking with Austin today, it
Yeah.
doesn't sound like there's been a lot of discussion other than saying that there's not some agreement in some places, but I just want to make sure we're
Yeah.
putting our feet to the fire to get these things done.
Mm-hmm. It will definitely be done at the December 22nd meeting.
All right. Board passed. Okay, roll call, we're all here on roll call, where we at on this thing?
Monthly finance.
Danny,
Yes, sir. We
where do
did,
you?
we did receive our final payment of property taxes for the year, which was good. We ended November with that in the bank, probably in the general fund, and this is general fund I'm talking about, $400,000. Not too bad, about where we thought we'd be. This month, we kind of get hit with a couple of big bills as far as payroll goes. We got the longevity, we've got the fire pay per runs. So we'll end the year kind of, a little bit thin, a little bit closer to where we were, a little bit less than we were last year at this time. So it'll be important to be watchful on the claims, to be mindful of those things. I don't know how mindful and how involved everybody wants to be. We've got an internet issue, Austin and I were talking about earlier today. We've got an internet issue at the streets department. The way the internet is taken care of there and at the ARC is it's beamed from here by antenna. And it's been that way for a number of years, worked out fine. But that equipment's starting to age out, and it's and the internet's kind of gone now. And so we were talking about it. Warren put together. He called the Ramsey Nasavi with Midwest Data, talked to Great Plains, talked to Brightspeed, and put together a couple different options. And Austin and I, we were talking today before the meeting, and he said, "Well, yeah, we've got kind of a couple different plans. Do we need to take that to council?" And I said, "I don't know. I don't know if they want to know and be involved in something operational like that." So that's kind of part of the question is, do you guys want to know those kinds of operational things that need to be presented? Or is it just kind of, how much of a watchful eye and do you want to have on these kinds of budgetary issues as we enter this environment that has been kind of enforced upon us by the State House a little bit. They've kind of put us here a little bit faster than we wanted to be, I think. So I guess that's kind of, you know, as we talk about the monthly financial report, that's kind of where I'm at is how much do you guys want to know before things happen? Later on, we're going to talk about the security issues in this building. We've got that later on. That's new business. I know I'm getting ahead of myself, but it's like those kinds of things. This is a capital project, and I think that's worth you guys seeing, okay, this is a capital project, but it's kind of how much do you want to know about these capital things? How much do you want to know about these operational things when you set a budget? And, you know, do you trust your city manager to go ahead and make decisions on those things? So I'll stop talking and let you guys let me know.
Could I suggest that just, as you did with the information we collected about the security proposals, as you get that information in, I mean, this is an important communications piece. So, and as we're making changes like this, that we probably aren't going to see every year anyway. Well, if we're going to make a change like this, if you can communicate that to the council via email and have the chance to get questions fielded, then I think for just being appropriate, after that's been sent out, maybe the following council meeting, we go ahead and just have an agreement on what steps we're going to take. But yeah, outside of a big change like that, I think, you know, the capital improvements and maintenance and things like that are already addressed in the budget. If it's more of the traditional cost and upkeep, maintenance type issue, I don't know that everybody has to lean in on that.
I agree with Terry. Yeah. But I think if we're going to make a change, just let us know and we'll move forward.
That way you're in the loop.
Short and sweet tonight. You-
Well, relatively. I mean, I can elaborate if you'd like.
Okay. Well, maybe you wore out from celebrating the IU winning.
Let me tell you, it was very exciting. I think everybody here was very excited. No?
Except for some
Come
Buckeye
on.
fans.
Are you an Ohio State fan?
That's somewhere to go.
What?
There has to be one.
Oh, good.
That's all right.
You don't mind waiting in the hallway for the rest of the day?
Hey,
There's always next year.
you've had decades worth of success. Let us have this.
Thank you.
But no, I mean, you know, looking at our finances, we do. We've got some headwinds, especially within our general fund to work through. So just, you know, kind of keep an eye on those things as the year progresses. I even have the mayor kind of, you actually came in and said, do we have the money for this? Where can we get this fit in? So it was good. It's good that this is starting to be front of mind for us.
So I always ask you. All right. Anybody else got anything for Ben? Mike, you want to hit him with anything? No? You want to be easy on him? No. He likes you. All right. Well, let's move on to approval of the claims. Everybody get a chance to see the claims?
Yes.
Can I get a motion to,
I make a motion to pay the claims. I'll second it.
all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Benny, you get to pay the bills. Everybody get a chance to see the minutes.
Yes.
All right. You have my one little change on there that I asked.
Oh, I'll make sure to get that in.
Okay.
What changes it?
The mayor asked about a change in his status be reflected that it is going to a full-time role, not just saying, oh, he gets health insurance now as well. To make sure that it's explicit that it's taking that mayor role and making it full-time.
Thank you. All right. With that change, is everybody good with the minutes? Get a motion?
Good with that amendment, I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
We'll get you later. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Okay, on request, Austin, you want to take this over?
Yeah, so the first request that we have, there's a somewhat new opportunity, and they are called opportunity zones. It's a competitive process, and there's only a few areas in Indiana that is able to apply for this competitive process based on different factors. Aurora is one of them. So we work with One Dearborn, and they're going to kind of try to walk us through this and see if it's right for Aurora to go after. I do have a very informational video. I'll post it on the website if you would like to watch it. We're not going to watch it here in council just due to it being a little bit longer. But I encourage you to hop on the website. I'll post it tomorrow. Give it a look, see what you think. Council, it will be sent to all of you individually. Give it a watch. But in the meantime, we have Gage from One Dearborn, and he's going to kind of summarize the video and just kind of give you an idea of what you're looking at.
So as Austin said, Gage Pace with One Dearborn. I gotta start by saying go Hoosiers. And also, I just gotta say that this was like has been the most positive town council or city council meeting I've ever been to. So kudos to y'all from the prayer to supporting the cancer survivor to the honorary award. Like, just kudos to y'all because we all just need some positivity. So that was great to see. So yeah, Austin mentioned the video that I had. It's about a 9-minute video, and it came from somebody from the town of Brookville. They created an opportunity zone in 2017, and the individual that created the video was a big part of it. So she can do a better job of explaining it than I can. So I highly encourage you to take a look at that when he sends it out, puts it on the website. She talks about how the opportunity zone in Brookville really changed their community for the better when they got it in 2017. They got a new hotel, about, I think, 57 new senior housing units in a abandoned building that was abandoned for 30 years on their main street, and a new business that turned into a couple different businesses, all directly because of the opportunity zone. And then indirectly, they got $2 million from Preserving Main Street. It's an investment from Aurora. That was a grant. And they just received another $2 million for their Main Street for blight and redevelopment. So this opportunity zone that the reason why I'm coming to you is because they've done such a great job with their opportunity zone, and Aurora will likely have the opportunity to become an opportunity zone in the next round that's coming up. So just a little overview, try to make it short. I know you guys got a lot tonight. But Opportunity Zone 1.0 was signed into law in 2017 by Trump. The zones are determined by census tracts, and they're based off of income and poverty levels. And as of right now, Aurora is likely to be eligible. The federal government has not released the official census tracts to show who's eligible and who's not. But a company called Novogradic, which is an Opportunity Zone consultant, created their own map based off the censuses. So it's going to be very accurate, and Aurora is the one and only actual census tract that will likely be eligible in Dearborn County. So investments, the reason that it's been so helpful for Brookville and all the other opportunity zones that came from 1.0 is that investments within these zones provide tax advantages that wouldn't otherwise be there if you weren't in a designated opportunity zone. The 2017 Opportunity Zone 1.0s will sunset in 2026, and so this new Opportunity Zone opportunity will start in 2027, but the application process will begin possibly this month. So 1.0 sunsetting in 2025, Trump signed the big beautiful bill which permanently created Opportunity Zone 2.0s. The state of Indiana has not released their process on how these applications are going to be looked at or how the applications are going to go, but I can tell you that that will likely be released within the next month, so either in December or in January. It's going to be a competitive process, like Austin said. Only 25% of the eligible census tracts in the state will actually be designated opportunity zones. The person who decides that is Governor Braun. So he'll receive the applications. He has between July 1st, he has 90 days after July 1st to decide the 25% out of all the ones that apply, which ones he wants. So it's going to be competitive, and this is something that I'm not asking for any vote or anything on it tonight. I just wanted to provide the information. I have talked to the Redevelopment Commission a little bit about it and made them aware of it. The town of Brookville, you can either have your city or your Redevelopment Commission apply. The town of Brookville have the Redevelopment Commission apply. That may be a strategic advantage, but that is up to Aurora to decide. Let's see. So yeah, I just encourage you guys to watch the video to get a better understanding. There's really no back draws or any negatives that I've seen to these opportunity zones. They're really just a great way to get investment driven into these areas that have certain income threshold and this poverty threshold. And like I said, it'd be competitive. But One Dearborn will work hard to try to make y'all's application competitive if you decide you want to do it.
So Gage, correct me if I'm wrong, but a summary basically is we go through the competitive process. Indiana claims that Aurora is an opportunity zone. And then the big picture there is that developers are enticed to come to Aurora and build, develop, whatever, within those opportunity zones. And the benefit to them is major tax credits, tax implications. So I believe how it kind of worked in Brookville is, okay, this became an opportunity zone. Let's say somebody pulls all of their money out of the stock market, they don't know what to do with it. If they choose to invest that into the opportunity zone, basically the taxes that they would have paid on those capital gains is very minimal.
Yeah, it's a little bit more, get down to the details, but yeah, essentially, if you get a rural opportunity zone, which is what Aurora will be eligible for, which is even more incentivized for taxes. Say you invested $100,000 in capital gains because you sold a business or you sold a stock, you can get up to 30% of that at non-tax after 5 years, and then any increase in that investment, if you were to sell it, is not taxed at all after 10 years. So it's really, really good for, it was a local community that actually invested in Brookville. So a lot of local people put their money together and invested in these buildings, and now Brookville has completely changed. If you've been there 10 years ago to now, it's amazing. So, yeah.
How many zones, you said 25% are approved, how many zones are there in Indiana, like?
Currently?
Yeah,
So-
if we apply, how many other people are applying?
So the
Or
first
eligible?
round, 156
Okay.
got approved, but I believe that was 25% of the eligible ones.
Okay,
So it's
wow.
going to be very, very competitive.
Gotcha.
I spoke with Christine Craig, who
Yeah.
is the Main Street Director for Brookville's Main Street. And I'm not going to pretend to be the tax expert as to the advantages there, but those are so heavy that it enticed investors into what eventually became the hotel that they have in town. And two things that she brought up was it's important, while the municipality doesn't necessarily have a financial investment into this, but it's important the municipality take the lead. Just as Gage was saying, whether it's the municipality, the city itself, or its redevelopment, you do have to be the one. But her point was that's healthy. You should be involved with this, regardless that it didn't have a direct financial, downswing from the city. That it really does show the spirit of the community in trying to promote these developments, and you want to be involved with what's going on with these proposed projects. So.
And I know there's a comp plan going on, and that's helpful for when you're going for grants.
Absolutely.
I mentioned earlier that Brookfield, indirectly, not directly because of opportunity zones, but indirectly, they got a $2 million grant from Oprah, and they just received another $2 million grant. And you can't say 100% if the opportunity zone wasn't there if they would have got those, but it made a heck of a difference.
Doesn't hurt.
In convincing them, yes, absolutely.
Christine did say that she had, and you probably have, kind of a slide captions that go along with that video
Yeah.
as well, that if anybody wants those, just to kind of walk through them. Brookville Main Street said, hey, we'll send them to you if you want. But I said, well, Gage is going to be here tonight. I think he probably has them in his back pocket.
Yeah, so basically, it's like a 1031 exchange, is how you could use it.
It's a lot like it, but there are certainly better benefits to it because it's not limited just to real estate. It's anything. You have a company, you have stocks, any capital gain that you could get, I believe, is eligible.
Well,
That's good. That'll help out with the hotel I'm trying to get.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool. All right.
Thank you, Gage.
Thanks, Gage.
Thank you.
Helpful, like always. All right. So hopefully we'll have more about the opportunity zone down the road. So that really kind of stretches all the way down 56 and everything as far as what they were telling me. So, all right. We got Aaron Gordon request.
Yes, we do have one more request I received. Aaron Gordon, are you present?
Yes, sir.
Would you like to kind of speak on your request?
Those opportunity zones will be reduced by 25.
Our
It'll be
request is,
120
we'd like to
available.
see my brother,
She's watching
Jamie
us
Gordon,
tonight.
on the Pike Trail. He passed away back in October 29th. Very loving person, city of Aurora, well known. And we'd like to see what we can do about present to him on the bike trail.
What, what did you have in mind as far as a way that we could honor?
Well, there's different people approach me about this.
Not having his name added to.
Not having their name added to the bike trail, yes.
How does that work? Are we even in charge of the bike trail
So,
name?
I'll tell you real quick, we own a mile of it. So we're in charge of a mile. Lawrenceburg has the other, I'm measuring it right now. I think it's another, they've got about 2 miles. So we own like 1/3 of the entire trail. So it'd be something, if you wanted to do that, we'd also have to probably get Lawrenceburg involved. So that'd be some conversation we could have about that, where they could do that. Now, possibly, that's a problem, is getting 2 cities to agree on some stuff. However, is there another way that we could honor your brother on this trail if we can't give him naming rights?
Anything would be nice.
I mean, we come up with something.
We feel like not only the family, friends, neighborhood area, they know me.
You know,
I don't know, just.
probably a good park board maybe.
Possibly it's something to bring to the park board. That would possibly get something,
Yeah.
at least get something named after. Did he used to do the trail all the time, or what was his connection with the trail?
Tremendous.
He worked for the city too.
Oh,
Yeah, yeah.
sure.
Okay.
Everybody in downtown Aurora knows me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aaron, can you show that so everybody can see who Jamie was and actually seen?
Yeah.
You seen a guy in Aurora on a bicycle, it's probably Jamie.
Play music, yeah.
Big flag.
Done advertising for every business in town.
Yeah, look at that.
All 50 stick all that stuff on his bike and run.
And a big old antenna on it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, flag, yeah.
All right.
But we didn't know what to do, how to start.
Yeah.
this.
Sure.
Yeah.
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
We'll open that up for more discussion, take it in front of the park board, see what we can do. Like you said, we'd have to talk to Lawrenceburg about that name of the trail.
If there's even like a plaque.
Yeah.
Maybe a plaque or something. Yeah, okay.
Flag, park bench,
Yeah, something like that.
something.
Kind of where it was going, maybe a bench of sort.
All right.
I think a placard with that picture right there.
I know, that's
Got to put on there would almost be
idea.
perfect.
So it sounds like there's certainly an appetite for something, so let's stay in communication and we'll make something happen.
Okay, right.
Well, thanks, Aaron.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Anybody knew Jamie knew he's always smiling.
That's right.
All right. Business. That'd be Jared.
All right, annexation. We're getting to the end of it. The 22nd of December at 5 o'clock will be the final hearing. If you're in the annexation area, you should have gotten a huge packet from me. It was basically a 70-page fiscal report. So I sent those out last week. The next step, so what I plan on having finished at this meeting is the first introduction, well, probably the third introduction of the actual annexation ordinance. After that fiscal plan came in, there's going to be some changes. We've got most of the tax abatements in there, some of the other issues, but I want to make sure that the fiscal plan is properly represented in that as well. So I should have that ready to go on the 22nd. Final vote's probably going to be in January if it goes that far, if the hearing goes well and everything else like that. But that's it. Like I said, we're proceeding. Any questions for anybody or anything? Okay. Thanks, Hope.
All right. We got the docks. The dock, I guess that'd be the North Side Trail update, right?
Yes, sir.
Well, we've been moving on this. If you're not familiar with the North Side Trail, we're trying to connect the 2 sides of the city. Mike, you might like this one. Get over there and do some swimming now. But anyways, we had Eric Lang. We've been working with him, a land consultant. We've been trying to go from one side to the other. It's always the railroad. But anyways, we got these docks from Hooters. They went bankrupt up in
Texas.
Newport. Yeah, so we got their 9 docks. I didn't think we could use all of them, but come to find out, as we sit around and think and put our minds together, we're going to take some of them and go underneath the railroad, and we're going to go around them. We're going to go in the creek. Around well, my wife would be so happy I didn't call it a creek. It's a creek. So So anyways, we're gonna go in Hogan there and go around the railroad. They have no jurisdiction in the water, so we can go around them. We've already got right of ways to go under NDOT to the bridge there. So we're gonna use, typically, if you can look up, I had Austin put that up there. I wish he had it over there. You can kind of see where the docks are underneath the red, where the lines are. And then you can see we gotta stay 250 feet off to the right of the railroad. We're off of their right of way, and then we go to the left and we can hit right in there. So next thing, we got a meeting tomorrow with Sean Sombers and some guys, but we're gonna try to figure out how to fabricate these things now. So that's the next step into this North Side Trail, using the money, trying to figure out how much it's gonna cost to fabricate these things. So everything's a process, everything a little step by step by step. Nothing's for certain, nothing's in stone, but if the North Side Trail people bless us with this, it looks like we're gonna go with it. So just keep your fingers crossed. I hate to say anything until it happens, but everything looks pretty good so far. Anybody got anything on that? You probably have to take a bicycle. You have to walk your bicycle across the docks. You won't be able to ride them, but you gotta be ADA compliant, so I don't know how that's gonna work with the river going up and down, you know, going to so there's always some kind of an obstacle. But anyway, we're trying, and everybody's thinking of a way to get around this thing, so that's what we got.
What happened to the tunnel we was gonna have?
The tunnel?
We named the bridge.
Who said that?
I did. How about the tunnel we supposed to have?
Well, everything said good with the tunnel, except for when the railroad gave us our stipulations on the tunnel. It wasn't gonna work. You know, the tunnel goes, I wish I had some way up here to show you. Okay, that window right there. There's your tunnel. Well, where you got your footers up underneath, the railroad says you gotta have a 10-foot clearance from the footers to the top of it. Well, when you go to the tunnel, their description of the top of the tunnel isn't up there. It starts right where the arch starts. So you're already down there, and there's not 10 feet to the footers. You're already in the water. So they found a way around that one to get not let us do it.
That wasn't much of a surprise. I mean,
Yeah.
every time they said, we think we see what you want to do, usually the next letter's going to explain how we're going to make it impossible for you to do it.
Yeah.
And that's gone on for 3 years.
So then we tried to go across Bridgeway and Moore Street, go across, add a crossing, and then put some lights up and everything so you could go across the road. We have right of ways on the railroad, but to add a crossing, we had to get rid of 2 crossings, even if it was for a bike trail. So I don't know, I guess we could shut George Street down and exporting or whatever, importing, but anyways, that's not gonna work either. So this is how this kind of came up. When we bought the docks, we weren't even thinking about doing this. It just kind of happened, so then we're running with it, and Northside Trail likes it so far, so we'll see what happens.
Is this running right along the river?
No,
Right along the river?
it'll go across, you'll go down George Street and go around that way, and then you'll go up underneath the highway and all that, and then cut across over by Waterways Park. But we'll have 3 or 4 of these left over, and I got Eric Lang also working on it to put them out here by Lesko Park. Because we've had 3 people inquire about bringing a floating restaurant down already, since they found out we had the dock, so we'll see how that goes. That's a little more to it, because you got the Corps of Engineers, you got everybody else you got to mess with on the river, where you don't have all this stuff over here on the creek, so. I said again, creek. So anyway, I am doing well.
You can even play it back for on YouTube to prove it to us.
Maybe that's when
Should never believe it. Never believe it. I think I put G's on some of my sentences too, and TH's, so.
You said creek very well.
Oh, do I get schooled on that? But anyways, okay, so hopefully everything goes well on the docks. We're all really excited about that, and it would be really nice to get that done. That would be something awesome. I guess moving on down, are we doing the elected official salary ordinance, or did that get
I
canceled?
just tabled them all. We tabled them all.
That's part of her motion.
That was part of it too?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know, I just heard it too. All right, we'll go to new business. We have the Woodlawn TIF discussion.
I had asked for a couple points on this evening's agenda, and I don't want to sound like the get off my lawn, curmudgeon type. But we're not to the point where the council's been presented with an ordinance to say we want you to approve this HOTIF up there overlaying the new development. I just wanted to bring up for thought, this isn't great for debate or anything like that, but I look back to, Michelle had some thoughtful comments she shared with Laura in the newspaper about the need that we do have for growth in the city, impact to our property assessed valuation, and then had mentioned also, you know, the schools benefit in a development like this as well. I think it's important to realize the differences between when you hear the magic bullet of a TIF district versus, you know, a development that could impact your general budget and also directly impact the school immediately as it goes. I don't want the city to be in a hurry to approve a residential TIF up there necessarily, particularly if the contractor or the developer was not asking for it. Because all we're doing is kicking that impact to our own general budget and any immediate financial impact to our schools or libraries down the road for a couple of decades. So I just wanted people to think about that and to maybe make a note to ask questions about this. These things are going fast because redevelopment is spending money on the legal preparation to put this in place. What you do want to have it, generally there's a little bit of a handshake and some agreements in place to say who's going to do what, pay for what, and how long will this go on with repayment. My understanding is that's not happened, but I think that in some cases, Jared had a great phrase, I'll plagiarize you, over-tiffing isn't the best for your community. It's a tool to help you create development where it might not otherwise have happened. So if you already have something that's developing organically, if you will, this development has received its zoning request, and they are going to be able to be accommodated by the Aurora utilities. I don't know how much more of a carrot you need to dangle other than that. So as these things move forward, I just ask council to keep their antenna up, ask questions, give some thoughts to this. I don't think we need to extend that if it's not necessary.
Yeah. And Terry, I just want to make sure you got my quote right. I said, I don't understand the impact of over-tiffing, not whether over-tiffing is good or bad.
I think if you say overeating, that sounds like it's bad.
Well,
so over.
I don't know if it's good or bad.
Well, I would ask a percentage of where we are within our assessed valuation. What's
50%.
under TIF?
We're 50% TIF'd right now. I mean,
which is high in
that's a little
comparison.
bit on the high end. When across the state, the average, it's a total of like 6%. So and ours has been kind of cast a wide net, cast a wide blanket. A lot of those other places, they're very targeted. And this one, like Terry said, we made it a PUD. They're not asking for any money for roads or anything or the infrastructure. It's kind of, hey, let them make the investment. The city can take the rewards on that. There's not really a need for the TIF there. So, which was, that's the kind of development we almost want.
Terry, can I ask you a question? So I'm just trying to clarify, not put words in your mouth. Are you saying that if we TIF it, the developer will get the money?
The way that I've heard this at this point would be the rationale behind creating that TIF is to create a TIF bond to pay for their roadway infrastructure. And that provides them the money, provides them the best financing you're going to get.
So if we TIF it, they get the money to do their roads?
There's two aspects to the TIF, Pam.
Okay.
One is to collect the increased property tax revenues, but that goes to redevelopment.
Okay.
That gets spent on redevelopment projects, and generally that's supposed to be within support of a TIF as you want to grow outside of it. If you're going to do this, the other side of that is you can use that as a tool then to create a TIF bond to help the developer with infrastructure costs that they may not have the money to do themselves. If they haven't asked for that, especially on a bond issue, that's how you create the money. Mm-hmm. Then there's, customarily about a 20-year repayment. It's considered very safe, it's very secure, and the money trickles in. But when you're looking at the city needs to have relief to the general budget now from increased assessed valuation, that just kicks that can down the curb another 20 years before it ever get to us. You know, that's all going to be flowing back to the bond repayment and some excess money trickling into redevelopment. So,
And the reason I asked this is I went to the fire department meeting the other night.
yes.
And they haven't bought a new fire truck in a long time. And we need to have a budget for a new fire truck for them eventually, because when one dies, they're probably not gonna replace it. They're gonna need all new radios, they're gonna need fire gear and things like that.
There's
So
always going to be things along those lines.
Yeah, that's what I thought TIF did, but, so that's why
I was
I'm
gonna say, I
trying to
also
clarify.
thought TIF did the same thing. It kind of brings the money, keeps it back in here and doesn't disperse it out to the county and everybody else. It keeps us focused here to where we can spend the
Some
money
of these
on things
things
for our
are
city.
gray areas as to how much of your public safety budget should be moved under TIF funds versus what should you be paying for, because when you're doing that, you are pushing other taxable entities out of that picture. So, you know, I was at the meeting, the department head meeting, when Jeff kind of leaned over and whispered, hey, I guess I better tell Benny we're going to need a new fire truck in a couple of years. Well, you know, you're going to have to order those things more than a couple of years down the road, and
Right.
I'm betting those are going to be real expensive.
Uh-huh.
So this, my point with, if I see a little apprehensive about TIF, it's because it's not a magic bullet. This doesn't solve your financial, you know, challenges with one stroke. It is a redevelopment tool. It is, and Mr. McCown's here this evening, he can tell me if I'm wrong, but I mean, it is designed to say we want development here where maybe it wouldn't happen. And now we can really push to, just as we're talking about tax advantages with an opportunity zone. You know, things that are attractive to developers that, okay, I wasn't thinking I'd find that. That steers them in a direction you want. I can tell you years ago that if TIF money was looked at, okay, we'll just pay for the fire company's truck out of that, the State Board of Accounts would have said, no, that's not something we're going to look at. It sounds like there's more of a gray area now, and that makes it even more worrisome that if you're in the gray area and a year from now somebody decides they don't like it at that time, I guess it's safer. I'm conservative. I'm old-fashioned. You look at things that would traditionally be paid under your general budget, you're best to do what you can to protect your general budget revenue without saying, hey, I found this, and it's like pulling a rabbit out of the hat. It's not. That's my concern. So I'll get off my soapbox on that one, and
No, I just wanted to understand, thank you.
I was just gonna say, if any council has questions about TIF, because it is very complex, I'd be happy to give an unbiased rundown of it with the pros and cons.
Yeah,
Just
come
let
and
me
see
know.
me, I'll tell you about the TIF. That's why we've lost millions of dollars without having TIF. But anyways, we're getting back into it. Moving on, deputy clerk position, Terry wants to bring that up.
well, I did want to bring that up, and this is one I'm going to call for an action or at least a vote on. You know, I'm putting forth a motion to rescind the ordinance that we passed that abolished that position. I mean, we put the ordinance out there. Yeah, I guess just the cliff notes of it. It was announced without a lot of discussion. We had a special meeting of council coming up, and it was asked that we go ahead and move forward with a vote on that. And in that meantime, I know there were some people that took the time to say, I wonder what the deputy clerk treasurer does. This is after the ordinance to do away with the position was introduced. After having some discussion amongst the folks up here about what does that position actually do, we did hold the vote. I'm not picking on you. But, I mean, it was a 4-to-1 decision to do away with that.
We didn't do away with it, we restructured it.
Well, the ordinance says abolish the position, then it was softly reintroduced as it's going to be part-time. Or that's the goal for what we set in the budget. So the state says the clerk treasurer can say, I'm going to hire as many deputy clerks as I need to. The council says you have as much money as this to do it. So that's kind of how the balancing act works. My point with this was, I mean, it kind of, I guess my mind moves a little slower as I get older. I'm hearing these discussions, and when the comment about part-time came up, well, what if that's not getting it done, was, well, maybe we'll hire a second part-time. Well, at that point, I mean, none of this is about saving money. To me, it's about efficiency, and any organization, municipal, for-profit, nonprofit, if you want to see the wheel come off a wagon quickly, throw a wrench into the financial end of it. Put something in there that it impedes the way that that organization processes its financial obligations. So to me, this just seems like it's an opportunity. I'm asking for the other members of council here to give that a second thought and say maybe this wasn't the best way for us to look for savings within the budget. Because any impediment to our clerk treasurer's office can be felt by any department head, and then as it goes down through the ranks can be felt by employees saying, what's going on with this? I had a question. I can't get an answer. Anything like that. I'm just bringing it up because I do have a concern that this is a mistake that we are making.
Are you making a motion?
I am putting a motion out
Yeah,
to rescind it.
rescind it?
Mayor, can I make a point of order? One thing is when you rescind it, it's almost exactly like adopting an ordinance. So this would be passed on first reading. Therefore, you'd ask to call for a motion to pass this ordinance on first reading.
All right. He's got a motion to pass,
I mean,
to rescind the ordinance. On
Presented for
the
first reading.
Is there a second?
Could I ask, do you have a copy of the ordinance?
The ordinance we passed last week?
No, the ordinance that we passed for abolishing the position.
Yeah.
I've never received a copy of that. So if I could get a copy of that, that would help. I talked to Terry briefly about this. We haven't had a chance to get together too long, but he said he wanted to do this because he said, I feel like we kind of jumped without looking a little bit. And like Sherry just said, she said, well, really, our intention was to restructure it. And I told Terry, I said, I think that's kind of, like, we kind of got what we wanted. And I'm saying the royal we here because we are a team, I think, like Hoosiers are a team. They all work together. And really, like, part of the goal was really to restructure it, to make it a part-time position. It ended up feeling like the original ordinance that I had heard didn't kind of read that way. It was like, this, that doesn't exist anymore, and they can't have any access to the funds. And it's like, well, that's not the deputy clerk. The state statute says you can have a deputy clerk. The budget is what drives it. And you guys made that change too. You said, look, we don't have the budget. I think Terry's made a very good point. He kind of said, he stopped me one time when I got on one of these. And he said, Ben, hey, you're not going to be clerk treasurer forever. Somebody else will have that seat one day, and they're going to need a deputy clerk. They're going to need those resources. And the budget may dictate that they can have that. And like I said, we talked about this. You've heard me give speeches. Hopefully I'm not repeating myself. But, we're going to have to, I'm going to have to rethink how the operation works in the department. I've been working on that anyway over time. I mean, heck, I started with 2 full-timers and a couple of part-timers. A part-timer that was in-house, and then we also had that outside firm. We got rid of that outside firm almost immediately, just because those things are costly. And we've been working towards it, and we can get leaner. This is kind of, I think it's a move to do too much. I think just saying we're going to do away with it. Because it gets into conflict with the state a little bit now if our ordinance reads such that, well, you can't have one. Well, we can. So that's where, you don't want to have that conflict. So, I mean, like I said earlier today, I said it to Austin briefly, I said it to Terry, I think the goal has been achieved. The clerk treasurer's office is going to be smaller. Orin's capacity is going to be vastly reduced. Not dissimilar to how the city manager's position is going to be vastly reduced. And it's changing the way in which the mayor's position will work. I think that's what, there's a desire for my position to work a little bit differently. I'm gonna have to do some different things, when January 1st rolls around. And those things are fine, but like, you know, to just like make ordinances kind of a little bit, a little bit rashly maybe, can create some confusion. And I think, you know, it's kind of, you know, Terry's suggestion to rescind the ordinance and present it, like you say, as an ordinance to abolish an ordinance. You know, the goals of that were achieved, if that makes sense. Not, you know, there's not much that can be gained by having our possibly conflicting ordinance with state statute, if that makes sense. So, I mean, the position is gonna have to shrink. You know, we've kind of been working under that assumption, you know, kind of going back and forth on, hey, this is what will have to change, or this will, is how this might work. It's all dependent upon, you know, Orrin has been looking for full-time employment elsewhere. Difficult time of the year to do that, but he has been doing that because he knew what was coming, and council does have the power of the purse, and that's already been decided. We haven't necessarily passed it through the resolution or anything, but it's already kind of in the works. We knew what was coming, so so we went ahead and made those plans to be prepared. He's working on getting himself settled. I'm figuring out, okay, here's the job duties, here's the list, what's the stuff that's most pressing, what moves up the chain and what moves down the chain, what's going to fall off the board. You know, some things just will have to be reduced, but so that's kind of where, you know, in talking to Terry, I said, you know, I appreciate it, and it's more of a long-term thinking thing. You know, this work will outlive us. None of us will be sitting here 80 years from now. I don't think. It'd be a miracle.
I'm not gonna be here.
Science. You know, well, you know, there's new opportunities every day in medical science. But so that's kind of my support to say, you know, rescinding it gives you, you know, you kind of accomplish the end goal, and now you can kind of say, well, you know, look, our piece, you know, our ordinance previously, it just mimicked what the state statute said, which was, you know, a clerk treasurer is able to have a deputy clerk treasurer. The council decides if they have the money to do that or not. So that's my 2 cents on it. And 5 cents.
Well, thank you. I mean, I didn't introduce this to be heavy-handed with anybody else up here. Honestly, I mean, to me, this is very concerning for how the city does business going forward. So again, I put forth a motion for first reading. Is that, Mr. Eubank?
Motion for first reading.
Is that first reading?
So we gotta-
And I am asking for a second to give ourselves some space here to properly define this role.
If we don't have a second, then the motion will fail.
That's first reading, so you can.
There's a first reading.
Yep.
All right. I guess that goes down. All right.
We have a question from you.
I just want to say something. Not that I'm gonna, I don't believe I'm gonna change any minds, but I just want to say that I do think that this should have been, or should be, taken with a little bit more thought, more consideration. Not to say that you all haven't considered it, but you know, like Vinny said, the ordinance that we have, you guys control the power of the purse. Like, I don't understand the need for a conflicting ordinance. So I just think that rescinding that ordinance makes sense because you guys already have the power that you invested in, and now in the future when these things come about in the next thing or in the future 80 years from now, there's not a conflicting ordinance on the books. They can just go, we have the power of the purse, we're going to extend more. When Benny's not the treasurer, then they can hire the deputies if they wanted to. Seems like conflicting to me. So I just want to make that point. Thank you.
Thanks. All right. Motion fails. we'll go to security appropriation discussion. That's you.
So, we talked a little bit last month about why City Hall is locked down, and, a lot of people, including myself, believe that City Hall should remain that way as a result of modernization. When I went to the city manager conference, earlier in the year, we talked about City Hall safety for about 4 hours, and everyone was shocked to see that I was part of the only City Hall present at the meeting, that you could just walk into the mayor's office, anyone's office, and you could get pretty much up to the desk before anyone even knew you were there. So, I know a lot of people have expressed that it should remain locked down. However, it needs to be easily accessible by the public once you know who is at the door. So the mayor has been gathering quotes for a security system. The security system where anyone from the public can walk up, hit a button, choose a department, select city manager Austin Woods. They bring on my phone as an app. I could see you. Okay, this person does not want to hurt me, hopefully. And I can unlock the door from my phone. You can enter and come to my office. That would work for everyone in the building. So I guess the proposal in front of you would be, is that something that you're interested in? And if so, our clerk treasurer had suggested that we could fund the security system through capital funding and get it done as soon as possible. You have the quotes in front of you. You have 3 different quotes. They all combine into one security system.
That way we wouldn't have to move the money around like we thought we were gonna have to. So it's already there.
So if there's an appetite for City Hall remaining locked down but still easily accessible by the public, after, quick screening basically, the quotes are in front of you. And I would ask for a motion to approve these quotes so that we can do it.
So moved.
I'll second it.
All in favor? Opposed?
Appreciate that.
Demolition, that's Jared.
All right, the funnest thing in the world, zoning ordinance, guys. We have a new permit the mayor asked me to prepare. This permit would be for the demolition of structures. So I don't think you guys all saw this by email, but I'll hand you out a copy so you can look around. I got one for you too, Mayor. I ain't got one for Benny.
Shocking.
I'm shocking him. So,
Sure don't.
here you go.
What's it matter? I'm only the guy that records everything in the city.
All right, any event. So demolition permits, basically, as everybody knows, that we do have a historical district downtown. In the historical district, you cannot just tear down a building. You have to get what they call a certificate of appropriateness to touch it. There is no such thing for anything else, anywhere else in the city. Some of these issues came up, but of course, we don't see much construction, much demolition of buildings. Some of the issues in this have to do with, a nuisance to the public, dust, making sure that there's some way to contain that if someone's knocking down a building. Other things are asbestos remediation. That's something that's by state law. Those people have to do it. It gives us a chance to look at it, to make sure that they're participating with that. The permit fee would be exactly the same as a building permit fee pursuant to the schedule. And so that's the main thrust. I'm going to tell you right now, the ordinance that I have in front of council is the same ordinance, tweaked a little bit, that Lawrenceburg currently uses for their permitting process for demolition. The other items you'll see on this ordinance, there's other ordinances. That's kind of confusing. This ordinance controls several ordinances. There's a couple typos I found in our code. So there was a reference that was bad. The other ones didn't really talk about how we do our enforcement right now. We're using the city court in Lawrenceburg to help us with some of our permitting stuff. So I just kind of tweaked some of that language. So once again, this is a zoning ordinance, so we cannot pass this on first reading. This does require 2 readings pursuant to statute. So I have that in front of you guys. Please look at it. Any comments are appreciated. Do you not want it? I mean, we can have a discussion now if you want to, or we can have a discussion next meeting whether this is something council would like to proceed with.
So I have a question.
Sure.
So, like, if there's outside of the historic district, so say down Conwell, and someone's house is you know, it isn't livable, you know, whatever. And so they want to take it down. So do they still go to the county, or they're just going to come to this? How is that going to work
So
then?
are you talking about unsafe building?
Yeah, so like
So-
if I have a house I purchased and I want
you
to put
got
a
it.
new place there.
Oh, you have a house that you purchased and you want to build a house?
Yes,
And you,
or-
so
yeah.
there's already a building permit in Aurora.
So they don't have, this wouldn't apply?
That, it doesn't apply, it follows the same rules as our
Okay.
building permit, so you're gonna go through the same steps to do a demolition and then
Mhm.
get the building permit, but it's gonna be one permitting process for both
Okay.
in that
So
situation.
in that case, they would still go to like Nicole's office?
Yeah, absolutely,
Okay.
absolutely. So
Okay.
the, you know, one thing I thought you were asking, but didn't, the issue is like unsafe buildings, of course,
Oh.
are excluded. You know, there's also exclusions for emergency demolitions,
Mhm.
things like that. I mean, we're not gonna, you know, say, hey, your building's leaning over, you need to go to get a permit.
That's awesome.
There's we of course can waive that permit fee if we have to for those kind of things. So, like I said, I read Lawrenceburg's, I read a couple others. I thought Lawrenceburg, kind of local one, I thought it was well thought out, so, I don't know who wrote it, but it was fantastic. So that's what we got in front of you. So, any other questions about it or anything?
Yeah, I have a
Yes,
question.
yes, ma'am.
This talks about if you have shrubs, plants, mailboxes, nameplates, laying posts, basketball poles, bird baths.
Who you at?
You're not taking them shrubs out unless we know it.
I know it, exactly, right?
Oh, yes, yes. So that's not changing, that's already there, Pam. So what I did is, I made sure I added demolition to permit required. So that's it, that may be something that we may want to change from the past. That's right now in our code.
It says do not, or they say do not.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's kind of weird because it's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
You don't require a permit for
Okay,
that.
you
Yeah.
don't require it.
No.
For
Yeah.
playground equipment, all that.
You get lampposts, television satellite dishes are still in there. You can tell that's a throwback, isn't it? So they'll need a permit for satellite dishes in the city. Right.
Got it. Thank you.
Welcome.
Yeah, just look it over and then get with Jared and go over it with all your questions or whatever.
I know we had a little back and forth on email, and Jared said, you know, I hate to put more rules on the books and things like that. This is a rule I'd like to see on the books. I mean, seriously, there should be a hand of control over this outside of the downtown historic. And that was my question, because demolition within the historic district has been contentious on a couple times in my last 25 years. So, but yes, good catch on your part. I hope nobody has too many questions, but if you do, ask Jared. But I think we need to add this to our hand of control.
Do we need to put what the permit, it says if there's not, you'll be fined pursuant to
So,
159?
We don't, because, and I can show you what it does, is well, yeah, it starts talking, and that was one of the issues I had to change. It was referencing Rule 09. Well, 09 had nothing to do with it, it was actually 19, so the reference was off, but now it's back on the tracks, right? So it'll take you up there to the whole permit process on their demolition, so.
Okay. All right, well, thanks. Guess we're down to public comment. Anybody got anything? Yes, Brett?
Any chance I could get a copy of the proposed annexation ordinance?
I just said that, I don't have it.
Well, you said something about the third reading or something earlier when you.
Yeah, I didn't say that. So what I said is this, is that we are rewriting based on the fiscal, and I should have that by the 22nd for review. That'll be our first step before we pass it, which will be in January. So you'll have a whole month to look it over and look at everything on there before passage.
You got all the ready stuff, right? Didn't you get a copy of
I
all
got a
that?
copy of that.
Okay.
I hope all of you have taken a look at that. The Reed study doesn't show any expense for sewer, water, or gas.
Yeah, I think you're missing it. So it's
No,
built,
it doesn't have that.
look into it. It should be what Aurora's gonna be spending on,
It's
the sewer
explicit
and-
in there. It says there won't be any expense for those things.
well, I'll ask Reedy, because I thought it was in there. Because we had gone through a couple additions on
And
that.
gas is actually left out totally.
Well, hey, that's a boon to us on our report then, if we're gonna be adding those services with that. Because that's part of the ordinance,
Okay.
right, is that we're adding all those facilities.
Yeah, we're upgrading all of that.
And then at the first meeting that I went to, and I've gone to all of them that I've known about, there's a mismatch between the zoning I currently have of I-3 and the fact that the city doesn't have zoning close to that to offer.
Yeah.
And we were gonna try to figure some sort of resolve to that. Have you come up with anything?
So what I'm thinking about is giving it into the manufacturing, because your part, that's, if I had to pick what your property's most close to, would be the manufacturing district with a couple changes. So like I said, the goal is that everybody that's being annexed is gonna have the same or similar use that they had before, so there's no economic loss on the people, so yes. And so, like I said, you're not alone, there's also some agricultural issues and stuff like that. You know, we don't wanna, like I said, I don't wanna take anyone into the city and then tell them that, hey, you can't do this, that, and the other.
Right.
We wanna keep it the same, we just want you part of the city.
Well, I think at the last meeting you indicated we were gonna try to present this on the 22nd for passing on the 22nd.
Yeah, I was wrong, check the statute, I gotta wait. So we were gonna try, we have to wait. So you have to, after that hearing, you have to wait a certain amount of days before you can actually pass the ordinance. So that's what happened there, Brett.
Okay, thank you.
Sure.
Anybody else got anything?
Yes, I do. I don't know if anybody's ever noticed, but as you drive up from Walgreens going up towards the water tower, there is a old dead tree leaning on a pole / utility line, and it's right now, all it's jeopardizing is an old phone line. And the tower, the pole says it's still owned by, it's really owned by CenturyLink, but right now the old dead tree is leaning on it. If it continues to, it will put in jeopardy a recently installed fiber optic line with Brightspeed, and we need to notify the people who currently own the pole, which I think is still Seville, although that could be an.
Well, it's a catawba tree that you're talking about, and it's just the branch that's dead and fell over. We got a hold of Duke Energy, they came and trimmed it up, but it wasn't theirs. We've been trying to get a hold of how
I've
many
reached out to
people
every communication
for
company,
2 months
email,
now to try to
and
figure out. You didn't really notice it until leaves fell off of it, and then you saw
I
where
noticed it
the,
started leaning on, but if it
it's
keeps.
it's laying on, we can't get anybody to take,
It's gonna break.
we can't get anybody to take ownership for it, so if it tears their lines down, it's gonna tear them down.
I don't know how many people still use a copper line, but the fiber optic line, there's at least 3 people in our section.
We're trying, we've been trying.
Yeah, if the mayor would have, if the city council, the mayor and the city manager would have signed a letter vote to the property on which the tree is on, plus whoever owns the utility line currently, asking them to formally, I think it would be more if it came from the mayor, the city manager, and the council, and the full council.
Well, like I said, we've been
The
working.
civilians, my dad talked to them,
Yep.
they blew them off.
I'm aware to what kind of tree it is even, so.
It's been so hard, it's not as hard, it has no leaves, it's dead, it's leaves.
Just the branch, not the whole tree.
It'll fall over at some point, probably next spring.
Just a branch. All right, we're looking into it.
So I'm confused on the budget where we're at. I heard we're gonna postpone to the 22nd. I mean, have you landed on numbers? What are you still talking about to discuss amongst yourselves? I mean, I just haven't seen a lot of progress, so that's why.
It's just a few line items that need to be rearranged or readjusted. Yeah.
We're down to like 2 or 3. Everything else is pretty much settled out. 2 or 3, and we'll have it nailed.
Is it similar to like what was provided, I don't even know, 2-3 months ago? Or is it completely changed? I mean,
Remarkably, in the big numbers, it's all the same. It's in those individual budget lines. Even at the November 5th meeting, we got probably, I think there was only a handful of different line items that got changed, and I think there's just 2 more that are kind of hanging out there. I think, I was trying to think of which ones it is, but I'm not in your all's brains to know necessarily.
And I
But-
think some of it's who controls.
And I
what.
think, yeah, it's kind of figuring out that, I used to call it the designated employee responsible, the DER, like who's in charge of those funds. It kind of similar to what I said back at the beginning with my monthly report, like how much do you guys want to know about different lines? Like which ones of these do you need somebody to come and tell you about?
Is
So.
the 27th the drop dead deadline? What is it?
Our budget's passed.
Yeah,
These are
it's
Our budget's passed.
These
It's
are
just
budget-
us moving things
stuff,
around.
moving it around.
You just have to.
We're just moving them
reallocate.
It's just,
inside,
yeah.
yeah.
How much is this and how
I
much
think
is
that's the piece I was missing, that it was
Debbie, the point of that was to try to consolidate as many of those little cleanup or housekeeping items into one, rather than go back. I mean, you can reappropriate money as need be, but there's a process and it has to be voted
We did
on.
make that decision on the amount, and then it's just however.
Yep.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Anybody else? All right, I'll look for a motion to adjourn.
I have a question to adjourn.
Second?
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.